craft as funded through Easter. We started the project because we found there was great need in the travelling community and non-travelling community to come together through craft and fashion design, and also textiles as well as sharing their own stories that they felt that they'd like to share. And it will be documented and it will be available. And we found two great facilitators to facilitate classes, either Wire, our fashion designer, and Tricia Murphy, our textile artist. And I'm going to introduce both of them now.
Wire, and I'm the fashion facilitator on the Traveller'S Stories Through Craft that we're doing in Creative Spark. We started in June. It's a 20-week course, so it's quite a long course that we get to, really get into designing and what the students, get them to portray their ideas. And at the beginning, our objectives were to introduce fashion design and dressmaking skills. So some of the students did have basic hand sewing skills, but some had never sat down at a sewing machine before, and so we've had to start from scratch, and we're all in the same boat together. The main objective was for our students to be able to show their personality through the design, because ornamentation is so important for people of the travelling community, and most students had a very clear idea of how they wanted to do this. So I'm facilitating them on getting product at the end. So by the end of the course of the 20 weeks, each student should have a finished garment which they can wear themselves. So it's been quite an ambitious project, but the students have really stepped up to the mark, and a few students in the class really have a flair for it and are showing interest in maybe doing further education, which I think is wonderful, and maybe buying a sewing machine of their own where they can do some work at home. So it really has, it's been inspirational to me, and I hope it's been inspirational to them, and that I have given them the skills that they can themselves then go on and make garments for themselves in the future. So just as an example, this was our first project, and it was very, very simple bag that we did, and then the students, they did the ornamentation on it. So this is very basic compared to what we are going to be doing at the end. But that's just to show you where we've come from, doing something very, very small, basic, just straight stitching, to a finished garment, which we each student has designed themselves, and we've used patterns that are available. We haven't done pattern design because it's too complicated at this level. So this is an example of one of our mood boards, which kind of represents how far they've come and culture of the travelling community. So I don't know, I'll be back in front of the slide, sorry. So bows and a lot of ornamentation in general, and every student has gone for evening wear. So it's something that they really treasure, something that they want to wear or use for a special occasion. And we are going to be having an exhibition on the 4th of November, and a reception where we will be exhibiting all the work that we've done throughout the 20 weeks. And we will be sending out invitations for that event shortly. It'll take place during Design Week, which we think is very important to be able to put our project into Design Week with all the designers and exhibitors. This month it's really, I think it's great. That was Sarah, who's the manager of the project. Sarah Daly was the one who coordinated that. So she can't be here today, but hopefully some of you will come along on Monday the 4th of November to our exhibition, and we'll be able to see all the final results. But in the meantime, we have some of our work on exhibit at the back, if you'd like to come and have a look after. But a big thank you to the funding. The funding has been amazing. So we showed the students some of the period costume, where even though their ideas are very modern and current, have come from period costumes. So it was really a huge learning curve for everybody, and I think it's been well received. So I'll pass you on to Patricia, who's the textile tutor, and thank you very much.
Hello everybody, my name is Patricia Murphy. I'm the textile tutor for the Traveller'S through Craft. I suppose one of the things I wanted to say was a little bit more about the background of the project, some of the objectives of the project. For me, it was to bring people together from both the travelling community and the settled community together, and allow them to get to know each other and use a creative process as a means for community integration and a way of building respect between the different communities and understanding of different traditions, culture and heritage. So that was the objective underpinning the project, and it was for women. And my group has a mix of all sorts of different people. We have ladies from the travelling community, and we have ladies from the settled community. The age group goes, the youngest person we had was the girl who is at school, who's 15, who has gone back to school now, so she can't take part anymore. We've had some students from university. We've had ladies in all the age groups from their 20s right up to late 60s. So, and we also have one person who is speech and hearing impaired. So it's a very diverse group. And one of the objectives that I wanted was to try and get this diverse group of people to become, not individuals, but to become a group of friends through sewing, knitting and other crafts. And there's nothing like putting a stitch in a bit of fabric to get people to sit down and have a chat. Now the theme of the project was Traveller's Stories through Craft. Well, we've had wonderful stories from nearly from day one, stories, personal stories and stories of people's traditions, and everybody's learned something. And I have learned probably more than anybody listening to the wonderful stories and sharing my own stories. And some of these have been videoed, and we have a creative writer who is putting some of these stories together, which will all come together for our exhibition on the 4th. And I think is there a video or an e-book being made, an iBook, sorry, an iBook being made of the whole project. So I think it's a really important project to do. Or it's helping her students to produce garments for each of them. But what we're doing as our group is to produce a wall hanging, which has been made by all of them together, which I think will be a permanent reminder and testament to the work that they've done, and that will be on permanent display in Creative Spark eventually. So what have we done? Well, we started off doing a different craft every week. And most of these people had an interest in craft, and a lot of them were very, very talented, very, very talented. And I can just show you one of the ladies who's come, Sherry's going to show you some of her crochet, which I have to say is fantastic, absolutely beautiful, and you can see more of her work. But one of the other things was to share skills. I mean, as a textile artist, I have an awful lot of experience and skills in different textile crafts, and I use it as a means of expression. But I didn't know everything, and I had never crocheted in my life, and that was our very first class. So we actually had one of our participants, she became the tutor for that class. This lady is from the traveller community, and this was a great way for her, for all of us to get to know each other and make friends, and she's been helping people with crochet all along, and as you can see her work is absolutely amazing. We did knitting, we've done sewing, basic sewing stitches, we've done applique, embroidery. So far as a team, we've made some projects. We've made a beautiful bunting banner with the name of the course, the Traveller's Stories Through Craft. Unfortunately, it was too big to bring along today, and we unfortunately don't have a visual, but if you come to the exhibition, you'll see it. It's a bit mad looking because everybody went to town on colour, on beading, on applique, and had great fun with it. And it was a joint effort from everybody, so it's a great team effort. And that was one of the other objectives of the course, was to try and help people to learn to work together as a team, but also to explore their own creative potential. We also made a knitted curtain, which is hanging up on our stand at the back. This is a very interesting thing because it was initially used, the idea came from one of the participants because she enjoyed knitting. So we've made it together every week, and it's a sort of notice board, if you like, of all the different crafts we've done. So bits and pieces that were left over were added to it. But they've also added personal items, tie-dye t-shirts, which they will all wear at the exhibition. This is to rival the fashion design ladies. We did a brainstorming session to see how the group would like to initiate and develop a wall hanging. I didn't want it to come from me. I'm an artist, but I didn't want it to come from me. I wanted it to come from them. And that was a very, very interesting class that we did, and we came up with some great ideas. So the theme of personal stories and identity was established, with the wider theme of friendship and sharing through the tradition of tea and chat as a metaphor for friendship. That underpins and underlines the whole idea of the wall hanging. A personal piece, and she has referenced the idea of the traveller pocket, which brings in a lot of the traveller stories. And if anyone wants, I can tell you more about that later, if you want to have a look at that. And everybody is making 2 of those, and then we're going to put them together. So it's an individual work, but also a joint effort. I hope you'll all come to the exhibition at the end. What I have felt is that everybody in our group has become friends, and everybody does have great respect for each other's traditions and stories, and I'm so pleased with that. I think that's really fulfilled the objectives. I'd like to thank, Sherry's reminded me to thank County Louth Peace and Reconciliation Partnership Network for Peace for their great support and the fact that they've made this happen. It's a wonderful project. Thank you very much.